ナルト、少しの間待っててくれ。今すぐ母さんを助けに行かないと。
Hey everybody, Bam Collectibles here, back for another statue unboxing review for you. Man, do we have a big statue in store for today. Minato, or the 4th Hokage, has always been one of my personal favorites, and this statue does such justice to one of the most epic moments in the whole series. As seen, the statue comes in 2 boxes, one very large and this smaller one right here, so this bad boy was quite expensive to ship. On the bottom of the base, we can see the studio's name, GL, as well as only 200 were made. Mine is number 178. After seeing the size of this base in person, it makes sense why 2 boxes were needed. This was in the smaller brown box, while later larger parts will be in the bigger art box. The nameplate says, I don't know. Someone tell me, please. All throughout the trim of the base, we can see the Uzumaki clan logo. On the back of the statue is the port used to bring power to the LEDs. I gotta say, I love how the base was executed with a mixture of cloud, dust, and rock. It really helps to showcase and emit the power that's going on when Minato's using this jutsu. For the crazy few people out there that would decide, hey, I don't want to use the LEDs on this statue, they've provided a cap that you can put in the center and cover it up. For me, it's a no-brainer. If a statue has LEDs, I'ma use them. For those of you that have ever wondered why they use large round bases for statues, when showcasing giant, large, heavy chunks of resin, it's important to have an anchor, something that holds this steady to the ground, and the bases do just that. Speaking of large, giant, heavy chunks of resin, here comes the Shinigami scene in the Reaper Death Seal. Most of the statue is casted in clear resin, painted with a little white on it. The chest area is obviously colored with that skin tone. Now, magnets are used all throughout the statue to add some of the additional pieces that we will see soon. This bad boy does weigh about 20 pounds, so I can't hold him up to my camera for long periods of time like I normally do because I like my back. The blue flames at the bottom are attached to the Shinigami via magnets, and it allows it to then attach to the base. Most of it was somewhat hollow inside. On the back, there is a large rectangular crevice with a very strong magnet attached. That's later going to be housing one of the larger pieces of hair. Another feature of the blue flames at the bottom is it gives off the effect when mounted to the base as if the Shinigami is hovering or floating a little bit above it. The hands were sculpted separately with magnets on their side to allow it to attach to the body. The left hand does come with the prayer beads, which is an actual bracelet. You can see the stretchiness of it here. I always find it neat when they use actual real items in statues, like when wood is wood or steel is steel, or when a bracelet is a bracelet. Here is the soul of the user who activated the jutsu. Another large, strong magnet that allows it to attach to the bottom part. The paint application on this looks awesome, and it almost looks as if he's already glowing without any LEDs on there. You'll see these holes on the left and right sides. The hair pieces will later attach to there. The bottom part is nice and flat so it doesn't rub up against the character in front of it. Onto the hair, which serves as 2 purposes. One, obviously, to fit the character, and the other, as I mentioned before, to brace and hold the soul. It's held on by that one small magnet up top there, which is really all it needs. Here are the notches right there, which actually connect to those shoulder pieces on the soul. The horns were done nicely. I wanted to mention that towards the end, be sure to stick around. I'll be showcasing with about 4 pictures of, I had a Death Reaper before this one about 2 years ago that I sold off because this one was somewhat of an upgrade from that one. But if you want to take a look, be sure to stick around. This hair piece is ginormous. It's spiky, and I had to be careful with it while handling. It reminds me of Jiraiya's line main technique that he uses. This magnet is by far the largest and strongest I've seen on the statue. I mean, really necessary for how large of a piece it's supporting, as you can see. Though it's just a large piece of hair, it's very impressive to see up close how they painted it and also how it was sculpted. The last additional pieces we're missing for the Death Reaper are these blue flames. There's going to be 4 in total. This one did come with the tip broken off. I just glued it back on, and you can tell if you look, but from a distance you can't tell at all. I like to also include these imperfections because in the game of collecting resin statues, it just happens. It happens, you deal with it, and you work with it like you can. One attaches to the top, as you can see here, and one attaches to the front part of it. Sorry, I said the flames were the last piece, but we still have his dagger or miniature sword that the Reaper holds in its mouth. This tiny metal rod is inserted into a tiny metal hole in the mouth. Please enjoy while I struggle to get this thing inserted. You can see on my left arm, I do have a tattoo. Go ahead and guess in the comment section, what series is that from? With everything now installed, I wanted to go ahead and show off the LEDs without a character being in front of it. Straight up, this is one of my favorite statues to be illuminated in clear resin like this. This statue actually comes with two different characters. We'll go ahead and take a look at the fourth Hokage first. Man, did they nail the pose for when he activated the Death Reaper seal. One of the minor negatives that I will mention is the face on him. It seems off. I can't pinpoint what exactly, but something seems off. The hair is perfectly fine, so it's not the whole head sculpt together, but something about that face is just off. Who needs a perfect looking face when you got an awesome looking Death Reaper behind you though? So on his cloak, there are some minor paint imperfections. I think I might have actually caused those when connecting him and maybe rubbing up against that sole part behind him. The steel rod on that foot and there's a magnet on this one allow him to sit securely to the base. One of the awesome things that statue companies do sometimes is include an alternative character and also an alternative base to display said character. This base is very similar to the other one, just no dust particles and all rock. Would have been cool if they sculpted the headband on the front as being removable so I could kind of use it on the other one if I wanted to. So, as you probably expected, the third Hokage is also included as an alternative character that you can use to display in front of the Death Reaper. I've always loved how the battle armor looked on Hiruzen. Overall, the sculpt on this one though looks pretty great. I think the face, again, is a little bit off. Maybe you can let me know in the comments below what you think. Maybe it's a little bit too chubby. Maybe it should be skinnier, but it's not bad at all. Especially from a distance, everything looks pretty dang good. The long fabric pieces that are attached to his helmet were sculpted separately, thank goodness, and they attached to him with a small little magnet on the very, very top of it. For some reason, when I attach it to the helmet, it kind of hovers on the bottom of it. It doesn't fit into the groove exactly, but it does stay magnetized and secure, so I don't really care, but it does look a little odd. The Monkey King Enma pole was also included, and you can display this on the separate base with him if you choose to. One thing that I cannot wait for one day is to have an actual statue of the Monkey King Enma separately. Now's the time where I love to hear from you. Who do you think would look best in front of the Death Reaper? Though both episodes and both characters using this jutsu were equally amazing and impressive, I have to say my personal preference is going to lean towards the fourth Hokage. Here's how the statue looks with the character in front of it and the LEDs on. I love how it gives off a silhouette look to the statue. As I mentioned before, I did have a version 1 of a Death Reaper statue. This is made by SXG Studio. I had it for a solid year. I sold it after the pre-order went up for the current one. You can see it did come with a little baby Naruto in the bottom right. Really cool touch. This statue represents a genius father making a split-moment decision to both entrust his son with power and seal away half of that very same power so no one would have access to the full chakra of Ninetales. I don't know about you, but I have issues trusting my daughter to carry over a glass of water to me, much less trusting her with power like that. I don't do this enough, but I wanted to, for those interested in the statue, say that it does sit about 21.5 inches tall and 23 inches wide from the dust cloud to dust cloud. This statue is one of my favorite scenes in the whole series, so it's going to be in my collection for a long time. Though it was sad, it was a moment of a father showcasing his love for his family, his son, and the future. I hope you did enjoy this statue, and as always, everybody, do what you love and love what you do. Bam out.